Hello, and welcome to The Agent is In. This is episode 35. We're going to talk about self-organizing groups using select class. So let me, I guess before I start sharing my screen. Select class is one of the attributes that you can use on a classes type promise. And you feed it a list of options, and each host will pick one of these options and stick with that choice so long as the host name and the I think the IP address on the host. Maybe I should have looked that up. Select, let's see here. CFEngine, select class. Here, classes, select class. All right, so it uses the IP address, the UID of the agent that's running, and the fully qualified domain name. So as long as the host's primary IP address and host name doesn't change, and neither does the list of options to select from, then each host is always going to choose the same thing without knowing what anybody else chooses. So this can help you just get hosts into different groups without putting too much effort into it. There's a lot of different places in which you can use this, but generally speaking, if you don't care so much about the groups being perfectly even or anything like that, this could be a good strategy. So let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yes. Great.
Yes.
Okay. So as an example for doing this, I was thinking about maintainers, right? So every machine in this little infrastructure needs to have a primary point of contact. Some of these machines, you might want to have a specific person be the primary point of contact. But if somebody's not already assigned, then we want to assign somebody from this group, and then they'll be the initial point of contact. So again, it's all right if these groups aren't perfectly balanced. So yeah, that's the idea. So let's start off here. Let me pull up a dashboard. So I've got Enterprise running right here, and I've got this maintainer inventory. There is no data being reported because no hosts currently have a maintainer assigned. So I'll go ahead and assign a maintainer to my hub. So if I come in here, I'll just add maintainer. Nick Anderson. Inventory and attribute name maintainer. So I'll save that. Go ahead and give that a run. I want to see this pop back up on the dashboard to make sure that we've got at least one thing reporting. Are you going to report? Oh, there's the agent run and our report. All right, so if I come look at the dashboard. All right, one of my hosts, all one of my 20 hosts or so has a maintainer assigned. So the idea here is to, let's see, to write some policy for using select class. All right, so just to keep in mind what we're doing here, assign a maintainer to each host. Some hosts might have a maintainer. Maintainer. Gosh, already assigned. And then, so for that, we use like data, variables, maintainer. So if this variable is defined, then it's got a maintainer already assigned. And it's okay if the groups aren't perfectly balanced. All right, so start doing a little bit of policy here. I'm gonna move this over. So here on the left, I've got my working space where I'm working. Here up in the top right, I've got my CFBS project because I've got this hub hooked up to a CFBS project, and then this is a console to the hub itself, which I don't know if I'll use. Whoops. Is this all right size to read?
Yeah, looks good.
Cool.
Yeah, totally readable.
Great. All right. I'm going to, let's see here. We need some variables. How about we need a list of maintainers. So let's do like Alvin, Simon, Theodore. Hopefully I spelled that right. Oh, come on. Give me that. Give me my text. There we go. Okay. And so those are going to be the 3 people that I'm going to choose from. In fact, so that we can see this, can I drop in? This broke. So if I drop in here, oops, focus on the policy. All right. So we've got Alvin, Simon, Theodore, and then the list that we're going to feed to the classes promise to select one of these 3 maintainers if one isn't already assigned. That's a list of classes to define. And so I don't want just Alvin, Simon, and Theodore classes to be defined. I want like maintainer Alvin, maintainer Simon, maintainer Theodore, so I can differentiate and leverage that for some stuff. So maintainer options. Let's see here. Let's do S list, and then we'll do map list. We can do maintainer this and feed it the maintainers list and maintainer options
map list, not map T. Yeah.
There we go. Okay. So that should give me the 3 classes. And maybe we should see this, I guess. Let's do, whoops, reports, maintainers, and maintainer options. Call CP, person and class. How about that? Well, just can't see that. All right, so I don't think I need those other screens. Let's stay here. Okay, so we got Alvin, Simon, Theodore, and then we've got maintainer Alvin, maintainer Simon, and maintainer Theodore. Great. That's what I expected. So let's pop back into here. And so the next thing that we need to do is look at this class definition. Classes. Okay. So we're going to define, in fact, let me pull up here. So we can select class. Pop open the docs again and look here. So we're looking at the select class option to classes promises. So here we've got our select class, a list, and then when the selection is made, so the promiser will be defined as well as one of the classes. So we're going to do maintainer automatically selected. Select class. And then we'll feed it that list of maintainer options to choose from. And since we want to respect that, we want to respect if somebody has already set a maintainer, right, here. And if we remember, that was data variables, I wrote it down. So we only want to do this class definition if that variable data variables maintainer is not defined. If it's defined, we don't want to automatically select because somebody's already got it. All right, so then we can come down here and we can do some more reports to just see how this is going to run. So we can do maintainer automatically selected. And then we can do maintainer is, so we can iterate over, let's see here. Maintainer selection. Maintainer options, right? So maintainer, let's just do this. Class is maintainer options. So we'll iterate over each one of those options. If it's defined, it'll get emitted. All right, so if we run that, maintainer automatically selected, and then we can see that the class that was chosen there was for Theodore. And if I go ahead and come in here and do, just to print out the date so we can see that change, we can see that, you know, on my host, it's always picking that same class. So that is the behavior that we expected. And we can also see that if we change the options available, now we'll have Craig in that.
Me.
And
Thanks,
then,
Nick.
Yeah. And then we'll come down here, run this again. We can see that now Simon is selected. So this host is just going to keep selecting Simon if those are the options available.
Right. So if you change the options, then the assignment shifts.
Exactly. Yes. And it would also shift if we were to do something like, don't we have shuffle?
Shuffle? Wow. I'll have to look at the docs and search for it. Since the search in our, Nick, the search in our documentation site is really awesome now. It actually works. And it's just really great. Shuffle.
Okay, I think there's shuffle, but
there is. Yeah. Shuffle, list, and seed.
Oh, seed. Okay, so then I could do like random int. Like that. Zoom out so we can see that again. All right, so if I run that, random int doesn't tally. It expects 2, not 0. It's like 1 and 100 or something. Boom, there we go. That worked. So now that I'm shuffling that list around, we can see that now it's picking a different group every time.
Yeah,
so you definitely want to make sure your list option is stable and not something like get indices or some other dynamic list generation. If it is, then you might want to run it instead of running it through like shuffle, you might want to run it through sort.
Like sort, yeah.
Sort isolating or something like that. All right, so at any rate, now we're back here. Let's see where we are. Okay, I'm back to always picking Simon. All right. And go back to the chipmunks. Okay, so we're gonna be Theodore. All right, so now I want to deploy this over to my hub that's running. So let's get this thing named auto maintainer. And I think that's all right. Cool. So I'll go ahead and just grab this. Let's see here. Where do I have that? 1 second. I do. All right, here's my CFBS project. Auto maintainer. All right, here we go. I already wrote a lot of that. All right, so we've got it down to this, and then I don't think we need any of these reports. I'll just stub those out. Oh, there we go. We've got a class, but I'm not actually inventorying that this selected person yet. So that is something that we need to add here. So we need to define another class. Whoops. Another class for, or not class, variable maintainer. So this will be a string, and we only want to assign this maintainer if somebody was automatically selected. So we'll scope that down, and then this will be see, I want to do just the maintainer name. So we could iterate over maintainers. And then we could do this if the maintainers, if the class for that maintainer is defined, then we will go ahead and do this for, let's tag it for then inventory and give it an attribute name. Like that.
Yeah.
That looks right to me. Okay. And then I guess we could have it print out maintainer. Oh, we don't. Well, yeah, let's do it. Maintainer. We'll say all right. Okay. All right, so there's that. This is, oh, I don't want to do that yet. Okay, so, whoops. All right, so I've got my auto maintainer policy file here. And I want to CFBS add this to my project. So I do want terminal, and I don't want this. Let's see here. All right. So we'll do PS1 equals, make this shorter to C. All right. CFBS add auto maintainer. Yeah, I want it to run that bundle. I just want to take the commit message as is. Okay, it's committed. So now I'll push it up to my remote repository. All right. And now if I log in there, give that a run. So we see it pulling down some stuff, some debug output from policy, but it deployed that. That's good. So if I come over to here, and let's see, let's go back to my hub. I need to get the reports collected. So let's do hit play on that. All right, agent run triggered and report collection done. Great. Now, if I flip over to some other host like this one, so let's get this to run that new policy and collect the reports from it so we can see if that maintainer inventory is back or there. Collect, collect, collect. Come on. Is it collecting? No, let's try a different host. 209. Boom. All right. I don't know if that's just the UI sticking. Might be collecting report. Report received. There we go. All right. So now go back over to the dashboard. And all right, great. So assignments are starting to happen. So as these hosts start to pull down their policy and run it, we will see what kind of distribution we get from that. And in fact, I've been assigned maintainer on the hub that we saw earlier. So let's go ahead and remove me so that it will be assigned automatically to someone else. So I'll go ahead and remove that data. I'll go ahead and run this again. Collect reports. Are you going to do that? Agent run, collecting report. Report received. Oh, maybe it didn't. That's kind of strange looking. Wonder why that is. Let's try that again. Do it again.
There you go. There you go.
All right. Well, I don't know why the demos are not liking me today, but so I'm not sure why that's here. Let's go look and see who it is. It's kind of strange that it's got this comma. But I see that we've got some more assignments happening. So let's come look here. Oh, look at this. It got both Nick Anderson and Simon. So
because you didn't block if it already existed, or maybe it already existed for a moment at this point, and then if you collect the reports again, it'll be gone because your CMDB version is gone now. Like it didn't get the update, so it had two of them when it collected the reports.
Maybe, yeah. I think that it'll go away because I unassigned it. I don't see it manually assigned here, and I'm not in the list.
Right. So it may just be
I think it's
one of
just
our nice eventual consistency things.
Well, yeah, it could also be a bug because I'm running nightly from the upcoming 324 release, so it could just be some little laggy bug. Let me try this again. Is this the right host?
Try it again.
Policy server, yeah, that's it. All right, run, collect. Agent run, triggered, collecting, report received, dashboard. All right, yeah, it's gone.
I think that's what it was. It's just that you removed it from CMDB, and then like the sequence of events when you clicked the reports, you ended up with both for a moment, and so you got the comma, and then
yeah. But we can see the reports are starting to come in. I've got like 20 hosts or something like that, and this is on some. I think it's on a slightly longer. It might be on a slightly longer interval, but as we look at this, more hosts will roll in, and once they're all reporting the updated information, in fact, we can go over here and poke some of them. We come look at the inventory. We'll look at who's not reported. It'd be kind of nice to just be able to select all these and then hit that play button. So many.
Yeah, I've definitely considered that before.
I mean, it's totally fine. The lag or whatever is totally fine on a normal daily basis with infrastructure. But for hey, look at this live demo.
I mean, we could put the trigger agent runs and reports on a group.
Yeah, we could.
Yeah.
Surprised we haven't yet. I'm sure we will.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna come through here and mash these buttons to speed this up. I could have also used run agent on the command line to do this on all of them at once, which probably would be smarter.
You could probably set that up in your Emacs, right?
I could definitely set that up in my Emacs.
you could like make a group in Emacs and org mode. And, whew, you probably use API calls to sort
look
inventory.
At that. They're all
look
coming
at all those
in
supporters.
Look at all that great support. So if we come back here and then take another look at the distribution, we got 2 left maybe to come in. So
which is actually pretty cool because like the way that you have it is if Alvin leaves and you remove him, then they'll be redistributed.
Exactly. So if we come in here and it's like, okay, well, Alvin's gone.
Sorry.
And who replaced Alvin?
Nobody. Or maybe Taylor. Yeah, Taylor Swift. Probably because she does an awesome job at things. That's true.
I don't know how to spell.
DE. Yeah, there you
go. with the question mark.
Great.
All right, so here we go. Here's my modification. So I'll go ahead and stage that and commit this. People come, people go. Commit that. Commit. Push. All right, that's pushed up. And then so if we come down here, go back to the hub, and I expect to see the hub will get a different maintainer this time. Probably. Received. Dashboard. Let's see. Do we have somebody else? Alvin, Simon, Theodore. Okay, no, it didn't. It did not choose to pick one of the new people. But one of the other hosts will, and they will report in here in the next couple of minutes. But I guess the important thing was to really see, with that original group, we got a fairly even distribution automatically. And I guess one of the things that I really like about this is it just doesn't take a whole lot of effort, right? You don't have to put effort into assigning these groups, figuring out who's going to go in these groups. It doesn't work for everything. But for cases where it does work, this can be really nice. I've seen this strategy applied to all sorts of different things. If you want to span something out over the course of a month or something like that, you could use a day for each one of those classes. and then each host would select a day. You could combine that with sub-selecting an hour so that hosts will spread themselves out automatically across hours and days to do some activity. Maybe that's patching or backups or reboots or something else. And of course, you can combine it with, other conditions as well, like we did to ignore that case when I was explicitly assigned to one of these. And that's pretty much it for select class. Anybody have any questions?
We do have one question in the chat, Nick. I don't know if you can see that or not.
I cannot see it. Can you read it? Let's see if I can find it maybe.
Probably missing something, but for consistent behavior within a host, couldn't you keep shuffling to get some randomization? Just use a seed of something like sys hardware address.
For consistent behavior within a host, shuffling to get some randomization. So
I'm guilty of that question, Nick.
Totally fine. Go ahead, and do you want to rephrase it maybe, or like?
Yeah.
What are you
So you've got a list that you're basically choosing the one option from.
Yep.
And you want to make sure that the host consistently chooses the same option so that it's not flipping between different maintainers.
Right.
And if you choose random, that you can't guarantee that consistency. If you choose shuffle with a consistent seed, you can just choose the one that's at the front, and it will always be that one on that host.
So the way that this is now is that as long as the host identity doesn't change, like that's how select class works. So all these hosts, I did change the options midway through, so they are going to flip around. But if I leave this alone, these hosts are never going to pick a different set as long as their primary IP, host name, and the options, including the order of the options, does not change. So as long as those things don't change, these hosts are picking one of these classes and sticking to it. So you get that stable grouping.
Yeah.
But
okay, I guess my concern was the IP address in particular changes quite frequently.
It can,
so
indeed.
You want something that's a lot more stable, and the number of hardware addresses on a machine and their values tends not to change as much.
Yes. So there are definitely some limitations. So select class itself, we pull this up here. Right. So right here. So it uses the FQDN and the primary IP and the UID that the CFEngine is running under. Math happens, and then it selects one of these list elements. If you have that host that's running and its IP is changing, then it would be changing into different groups. And this would not be the best implementation if you want a stable group. But there is, because there's always a special case. Hash to int.
Well, it hashed to 0.
There it is. So this is kind of this lets you kind of rebuild select class or splay class type functionality. So this was written because splay class, it's similar to select class, but it will choose a class over a period of time. And somebody saw some clumping where this wasn't working well in their environment, and they weren't getting a very even distribution. So we implemented this hash to int, which lets you kind of build this on your own from the ground up. So, if splay class or select class isn't working for you, you can build your own hashing criteria so that you can end up selecting a consistent thing from a bucket, but still not care about what anybody else is doing.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, cool.
But yeah,
I'm intrigued to know why splay class didn't work if they gave it enough time, but yeah.
So the reason is because splay class is very, like, in the implementation, it is very dependent on the default 5-minute interval. And they were running at like a 15-minute interval, I think. So, all the base expectations weren't there for splay class, and splay class doesn't have any way to like give it a different periodic range so that it could make adjustments. So that was why splay class didn't work for them. But yeah, because if you're not running on a 5-minute interval, then these daily or hourly segments don't work.
Yeah, it's not collecting enough data to amortize the. Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Let's see here. Oh, go ahead.
That was just a thank you.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Thank you. See, there's another question or comment at least. A simple use case for select class is something that we did for randomizing which of our two Anycast DNS servers comes first in resolve conf. Currently use hashed int to the default IP address of the host. This would be much simpler. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, selecting the order of DNS servers. That is another good use case. Has anybody else used this? Or one of these kind of autonomous distributed grouping mechanisms in CFEngine for anything else? I think it's one of my, I think it's a great trick. So, all right, cool. Any other questions or comments? All right, well, let's see. We talked for a couple minutes, and I'm curious if this hub is a Swiftie yet. It is not. None of these hosts care about the thing. Maybe I didn't push it right. I might not have pushed my policy. Oh, there's a health. Duplicate IPs, outdated reporting data. Oh yeah, I've got some hosts that just kind of stop checking in, as is the case with live demos. But since there are no other questions, we'll just wrap this one up. Thanks for coming. We'll see you guys next time.